Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now January 22nd of 2025, and given that the Meghan Markle drama is only getting worse, both behind the scenes and in the public eye, when it comes to her Netflix scenario happening right now for With Love Meghan, a universally rejected series, might I add, by Netflix. That was their first mistake. I always like to bring this up. That was their first mistake by even allowing this thing to get made between Meghan Markle and Mindy Kaling starring in this show. It's really going to actually really hurt them when it comes to their overall subscriber numbers, when it comes to their overall image as a studio, as a company, by siding with Meghan Markle for even releasing the show and not deciding to essentially cancel it. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So, like I mentioned a couple of days ago, there is a ripple effect happening right now, a domino effect, if you will, for Meghan Markle's career, if you even want to say that she has a career beyond Netflix at this point. All of her smaller and side roles are diminishing one by one, studio by studio. We already talked about the HBO situation and everything else happening over at Warner Brothers, and how more studios are beginning to step in and blacklist Meghan Markle, essentially, while others are on the fence of deciding on whether or not they want to stick around with her, right? But what's interesting here has a lot to do with her losing out on millions and millions of dollars and her behavior toward all of that, and all of that happening within the past couple of days. So let's discuss. Now, one thing about Meghan Markle I must add is that we know that she is by far one of the fakest individuals in the public eye, one of the fakest personalities out there that will use any opportunity as a photo op or as a way to step into the limelight or to remain relevant. But moving on, with the entire woke media now in shambles and many studios beginning to shut down their DEI departments, while other studios are still hanging on to that, one major development going on now involves more to do with Meghan Markle and her reaction and behavior after she lost $40 million after more drama erupted over at Netflix. It turns out that Meghan Markle had two projects lined up with Netflix that were going to serve as separate from her existing contract deal over at Netflix. One project was going to focus on Markle's life traveling around the world in the form of a TV show, while the other was going to focus on her life shopping and reviewing popular pieces of jewelry and clothing items with other famous celebrities. Both of these projects were going to pay $20 million, I should say, per each before they were canceled, thanks to Netflix CEO Greg Peters convincing the board to axe those projects altogether. Already, Markle is challenging this action by Greg Peters, the Netflix CEO, where she had multiple moments of outrage by labeling him as a misogynistic businessman, essentially. Tensions got even worse after Markle warned Peters now that she is going to be discussing the truth about what happened and her side of the story behind the cancellation of these two TV shows that were going to be essentially the same as With Love Meghan, the same exact format. She plans to go on multiple podcasts and radio shows to set the record straight with her supposed side of the story, which will more than likely hold a lot of fake elements and fabrications. In addition to all of this, the budget for these two shows were described to be quite massive, around, get this, $70 to $80 million per project. The board looked over the metrics and took the Meghan Markle backlash into consideration and the overspending of these projects and decided to cancel after seeing multiple reports of Netflix unsubscribers and email complaints. Now, guys, before I move on, about the email complaints, we talked about this one from 20 to 40,000 emails within a 2-week span, which is quite crazy. That was the number of emails coming from Netflix subscribers / customers complaining about not only the Meghan Markle drama, or siding with her and continuing to double down on that show, but also a lot of people have been very unhappy with this service. I mean, a lot of people had a buffering issue with the Mike Tyson and Logan Paul boxing match. I don't know if you guys got that problem there, but there were a lot of complaints about that, and many more. Taking off titles, taking off movies and TV shows and putting on less known material. But Markle is already blaming the board for falling for misogyny and sexism coming from Peters for convincing them to go through with this action, and is now planning to essentially trash talk, quote-unquote, the whole situation on many radio shows as early as this summer, around June, to put the spotlight on herself no matter what it takes. She is also trying to stir up yet another legal case toward Netflix, aside from what she is trying to do legally to do against both HBO and Warner Brothers, after losing roles and projects from those two massive studios in Hollywood. And look, guys, this is another way of Meghan Markle playing the victim card, acting like she's the victim in all of this, when in reality, look, your behavior is your behavior. That's why a lot of people do not like her. That's why a lot of people absolutely resent her when it comes to her playing a character or playing herself on the big screen or in streaming, in people's homes. People just don't want to see her anymore. And people are just done with a lot of these studios siding with these no-talented people. Now, look, we know that she had a time on Suits, and that time has been long gone, right? That was long, long ago at this point. And after that, she really wasn't getting anything substantial. Nothing really all that much of value within Hollywood. She may have had some cameos here and there, and that was pretty much about it. Now, this case with Love Meghan, the main reason why people have a problem with it is that it is so inauthentic, it is very fake, it actually stole a lot of elements from other shows on social media, surprisingly. We talked a lot about this. But moving on, alright, in conclusion, this is all happening as more members of the board realize that the Markle backlash is just too strong to handle that, and that they are now considering of, get this, slashing funds for the marketing campaign of With Love Meghan, which is also angering Meghan Markle. We'll have a lot more to talk about that in the days to come. To make matters worse for Meghan's sake is that this behavior, after losing these two projects, bundled up together, they were supposed to pay her $40 million, that were also going to star Mindy Kaling, surprisingly, caused the board members, of course, to turn against Meghan Markle after she called some board members as opportunists and actually rewarding the public backlash. So the fact that she really got so bent out of shape about the board finally gaining a little bit of common sense, they're not quite fully there just yet, but they're getting there, slowly but surely at a snail's pace. They decided, let's cancel these two projects. They looked over the metrics. They were overspending on those two projects, $70 to $80 million per. Are you crazy? That's insane. For a show like this, that is just following Meghan Markle with a camera, basically doing nothing, just, buying things and reviewing clothing. Look, there are multiple shows that do this all over social media. We don't need someone like Meghan Markle to do something like that, right? So again, that's why people are kind of up in arms with Netflix, is that they really are lowering themselves to doing something that is really not so talented at all with a no-talent personality. And that's why people are viewing Netflix as really getting very lazy, taking a massive step back when it comes to their overall, creativity. But I think at the end of the day here, this is going to take a massive amount of subscribers out of their core customer base. And once they go through with this thing on March 4th, with Love Meghan I'm talking about, once they drop this show, you're going to see a lot of changes coming. I can almost assure that by the board of directors after they realize what big of a mistake they made. But overall, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.